Has it even hit you yet?
A little bit. It hits me at times. I don't try not to think about it right now, but I'm definitely excited and sad at the same time, but I don't really know how to take it yet.
As a San Diego native, you came a long way to come to Purdue. I imagine the overall experience has been positive. Was that first year or so coming from the West Coast maybe the most difficult, that transition?
Yeah, definitely. It was hard not being close to home and my family and friends, but I would not trade this opportunity for the world. It's been an absolutely amazing experience, and the people that I've met and that have helped me grow into who I've become the past 4 years, it's been absolutely wonderful. And yeah.
Obviously, there's been quite a bit of change in your 4 years here, specifically with the facilities and stuff. And how cool is it that your senior day will be played under the lights?
It's awesome. We love the lights. We love the facility. It's been a blessing to actually be here throughout the process of coming from the field that we had to what we have now. So it's been really neat to be a part of that.
At the beginning of the season, I don't think I would have been able to comprehend what this feeling or like what this would be like, but the time's finally gotten here, I guess. So it's definitely that bittersweet feeling where it's just like, I'm proud of, the 5 years of work I put in, and it's the bitter part is that it's over. Well, it's going to be over soon, and yeah.
Last year's game at Penn State, Claire had to leave early in the first half with kind of a weird injury, and you got kind of forced into duty against one of the best teams in the country, kept them from scoring. I mean, is that among your most pleasant memories on the field over the years?
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting one. It was, it's always, some of the most unexpected times like that where it's just like I'm not, Claire's doing a good job in there, and all of a sudden something happens, and it's just like, all right, like, not even a warm-up, like, just go ahead and get in there. So that definitely was, it was fun, and it was, it was nice. That first half was a great half for us. We held them to 0-0, and, weren't so fortunate the second half, but the first half of that game was very nice.
As a 5-year member of the program, I mean, is it almost two different types of teams that you've been on over the years, with the changes in the facilities, and, each year kind of has its own group of memories?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen so many changes in the program, from everything from, like, strength staff to, the facilities, and so there's definitely been, changes and progress, I guess, made in the program. And yeah, I would say, I don't even say it's like two different programs. I'd say it really evolves a lot every year.
Has it even hit you yet this is your last game?
I don't really think so. I mean, like, we've been talking about, like, oh, this is our last week, we've only got like 2 days, 3 days left, but I don't think it's going to hit me until the game's over.
I mean, could you just talk about how you've seen the program grow and, the facilities change in your time here, just the overall, landscape, and how the things have been different during your time?
Yeah, well, the facilities have obviously gotten much better. We used to be in the trailer before games, but now we're in this amazing facility, and our locker room used to be back at Mackey. We've gone through, like, trying to get through practices in Mollenkopf, like, navigating around all the construction, so it's definitely nice to go out with the finished project.
They have a senior game that's also a night game, too. That has to be kind of cool.
Yes, exactly. Which I remember when, like, coming in, we were all so disappointed that we can only play games during the day because, night games bring such a different atmosphere. So it's nice to be able to go out on that.
Go out on a high note, and certainly a chance to, beat a team in Penn State who nobody else in the Big Ten has beaten this year.
Right.
So even though the game might not help you in the standings, it can certainly leave a positive final memory, I would think, here at the stadium.
Yeah, definitely. I think at this point we're just playing for pride and trying to end on a good note so that we have positive things happening for the next year.
Maybe you could kind of compare and contrast the first senior day that you saw in 2009 here compared to how it may be, 2 days from now against Penn State under the lights, and just how much things have changed in your 4 years.
It was so weird. Our freshman year, I feel like as a freshman you just don't really understand it. You don't understand that your career is kind of coming to an end at that time, and so I think that there's just been a lot more emotion that has kind of played into the last few games, the last few practices, and then now, especially Friday, just being the last game.
Are you able to put into words maybe that frustration that you got back from injury after missing those first 3 Big Ten games, and then just to have it happen again?
Yeah, it is pretty frustrating. I haven't had any serious injury all throughout college, and so then it's frustrating that it gets to my senior year, and then overcoming the ankle injury, and then now the knee, and it's just not a very convenient time, so that's frustrating, but it's okay. It's part of the game.
Certainly, I think, with where we place it in the season, it's oftentimes the last guaranteed home game that your seniors play. I think, you look at this year, and it's got even a more dramatic importance in that it's, the last game of their college careers. So in that, just the understanding the finality of it for them, and the understanding of that finality is, it's difficult. It's a very emotional day for those kids, knowing that there's no more games, at least at this level, for them to play. You understand that there's going to go through a lot of emotions, during the course of the game and dealing with it, and usually somewhere in that final 10 to 15 minutes of the match that starts to set in. And so, just as a coaching staff, you've got to be aware and understanding of that.
We asked them so much about how things have changed around here, and having the first senior day under the lights, and they're a class that maybe has seen as much transition in terms of their surroundings as anybody that's come through here.
Yeah. It's I think for them there's an awareness amongst that group of and not a sense of entitlement at all, but truly an awareness of where the gifts that they've been provided through the donors and the support of the athletic department, and the opportunities that they've been provided. So I certainly think there's a humbleness about the group, that group of 4, and an understanding of how blessed they are.
Now, the game might not be able to help you in the standings, but you could do what nobody else in the Big Ten has been able to do this year, and knock off the beast that is Penn State. Never an easy task, but certainly gives you something to play for.
So you know what? Honestly, I think for us, it's a big match for especially not only the seniors playing their final game, but for the younger players in establishing that level of confidence of this is the number 1 team in the Big Ten. This has been the number 1 team in the Big Ten for the last 15 seasons, and just the ability to go out and play and compete against them, pursuance of a result. That is really our goal: is getting our players to compete. Though there's nothing on the line, just that element of pride. And I certainly know as a coaching staff, we feel the importance of that for being able to go forward and building over the next 10 months. So we arrive in next August with that level of belief.